I'm Martin Free, and I work for Be the Change Incorporated, which is currently hosting the Service Station campaign, a campaign that is centered around increasing national voluntary citizen service. This campaign is something that we've been working on now for a few months, and I take an active role by organizing the East Texas regional area, which includes Beaumont and Houston and a few other events here and there throughout the state of Texas. And I have been involved with this organization for a little while now, and I really feel that it's a great organization that's going to bring about a wonderful amount of impact that's really going to create change in our society. To me, service is giving back to your community. Service is looking at the challenges and the social injustices that exist in your community, such as poverty and homelessness and illiteracy, and taking those things into into yourself and looking at them and seeing how you feel about these problems, and then making something happen that will change the lives of the people that this affects. And poverty affects a certain percentage of people in our communities, but it affects us as well. It affects everyone in the community, because regardless of the fact whether you're homeless or povertized, it's still your community, and you as an American have a responsibility to help ensure that your community is going to progress and to help make it better. And so, service to me just means, looking at any problem, looking at any injustice, looking at any challenge, and doing something, no matter how small that is or no matter how big. Some people found nonprofits, some people volunteer in a soup kitchen, and no matter what you do, those things are a large part of service, and they're an excellent, excellent way to help better your country. I serve because I think that in our communities, in our cities, in our neighborhoods today, that we have changes that need to be made. And I think that as a person who grew up in a white middle-class family in America, there's something that I can give back to, people who are less fortunate than me. And one of the greatest things that I've been able to experience is, the wonderful education system in Texas. Texas has probably one of the best education systems because they pour so much money into it, and they're compassionate people who care and dedicate themselves to helping schools. But once I went to college in New York City, I was able to, really go into inner city schools for the first time. I grew up in, a suburban type neighborhood, and these inner city schools were completely different. I went into them, and they were schools where, people just didn't care. The teachers didn't care. The teachers were scared of students. The students' parents were, on crack and dope and things like that. And there just wasn't that, that cohesive environment that helps for learning and helps for progression. And so I remember, working at a school and a middle school in the Bed-Stuy area of New York City in Brooklyn. And, we walked up, and the first day there was this lady, the principal, who came down from the school, and she said to us, I advise you, get out of Bed-Stuy before nightfall. And it's really sad that, students go to a school where even the principal doesn't feel safe. I mean, that is something that is just extremely, extremely ridiculous. And it has to change, because for America to progress and for us to become a nation that, everyone is equal and everyone is free and that there's equal opportunity for everyone, we cannot have schools such as this in Bed-Stuy where the administrators and the students, they're not getting along. There's not, there's not an after-school program. And, I've seen wonderful programs go into these schools, such as City Year, and I've seen City Year make an impact on these communities. And Teach for America, down in Houston, I had a friend who worked with Teach for America who, every day he faced challenges in the classroom. He faced students who would bring weapons to school. He faced students who would just be very cynical about the whole education process and wonder why they even needed to be there. And it's all of those things that, inspire me to serve, that encourage me to serve, because I have so much that I can give back to the community, and there's no reason that I don't. And so, I really think that seeing all these social injustices, and I talk about that so much because those are really the key components and the key factors of what we're facing in our society today. We're facing problems such as poverty, illiteracy, homelessness, and those issues are things that, we can take care of every day. We can find a way to help make the life of someone better. And so I really think that serving is important because we're able to give back to our communities, and we're able to really hone in on what those problems are and how we can help make them better. Well, when you're asked that question, you kind of think of, the Miss America thing, world peace. And yeah, I would like to see world peace, but I think that it's not such an abstract idea whenever, Miss America says it, because she's talking, peace amongst countries and things like that. I think that we need to have peace within our country. And so the main change that I want to see in the world is I want to see people, be able to go out and get an education, people to buy a home, people to not have to, save every little penny to be able to afford something to eat. It's like I was in New Orleans recently, and I was walking down the street, and this gentleman came up and offered to shine my shoes for me so that he could make a little money. He wanted $6 just to shine my shoes. And I said, well, my shoes don't need shining, but here's $10 because, if you're going to go out on the streets and that's your way of making money and I can help you out, I need to help you because there's just, whenever you see that happen to you in person and you see the dynamics of just how, poverty affects people, especially, in areas, in New Orleans where the lower Ninth Ward was completely flooded, an area that had been povertized previously, and those people lost what they had then. And so now, they're scrounging to save every penny, every nickel, so that they can buy a loaf of bread, so that they can feed their children. And I want to see change in the world that's really going to help those people, that's going to impact our society, and give everyone the equal opportunity to, go to school, get an education, better themselves. And, I think that service and volunteerism is the way that we're going to be able to do that in our society. So I just hope that, in the coming years that people really, really see how important service is and see what we need to do to help make the country better. Well, that's a question that, it's kind of difficult to answer sometimes because there's so many things in life that inspire me. First and foremost are my parents, Daryl and Linda Free, because they taught me in life that we are privileged and that we have things that we can give back to the community. We can help people out because no matter, how bad of a day we're having, there are people that are less fortunate than us and we can help them. And, other people that inspire me are people that, for instance, are dedicated to making the change in the lives of other people. And one of those particular people would be Robin Alexander with America's Born to Lead Network. I've had the opportunity to work with her for several months now, and I've seen that she cares so much about today's youth. She just, she sees the problems that they're facing, and she tries to, just go out and, bring programs to them, bring activities, and really make an impact in their lives. And she did that this year by hosting the first National Youth Gathering. And I strongly supported her during that. And I will continue to support her because I think that her program is so amazing because, there's so many problems with youth today that they face, violence in schools and, there are people who actually go out and make an impact on their lives, truly inspire me. And Robin is one of those people. And then, I think that it's a broader picture. There's not just, individual people that I can name that inspire me. There's a whole wide array of people. There are people, the firefighters in New York City on 9/11, the rescue workers in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, the people who came to Southeast Texas after Hurricane Rita and helped rebuild this community, the National Guard, citizens who gave their time, the American Red Cross. All of these individuals inspire me to serve more. They inspire me to become a better person and to do as much as I possibly can to help out my community and my country.